Have you ever wondered why in most 3D Mario games we get to play as different characters, but in Mario Odyssey we're stuck with just Mario? Personally, I did. So today, I wanted to see with you what would happen if brand new characters with custom abilities were added to the game. So when I started the game, I arrived here in the Lake Kingdom as regular Mario and I saw that all of the custom characters were locked up into cages, except for Fludd. So my first idea was to jump on it and see what it would transfer me into, and when I did, I turned into Fludd Mario. And let's be honest, that skin looked amazing on me. There was also this weird looking platform that had just appeared, but we'll get into that later. After messing around a bit, I found out that I could switch in between 3 different Fludd variations by pressing the left D-pad button. The first variation was the hovering nozzle, which allowed me to float in the air by pressing R after jumping. Then there was the rocket nozzle, which I could load with water and then launch myself in the air just like this. Finally, there was a turbo nozzle, which once loaded allowed me to go faster on the ground and in the water as well. After all those discoveries, I went back to the question mark platform and I decided to stand still on it for a few seconds. And then I got teleported into a whole new level, which was actually Bianco Hills from Mario Sunshine. To complete this level, I had the objective to collect the shine with each one of my Fludd abilities. I started by this one, which you normally have to get by gliding with Glidin. Instead, I dumped the animal and I used my new hovering ability to easily get this shine. For my second one, I wanted to use my rocket nozzle and I saw that this tower might have had a shine at the top. So I used Fludd to launch myself up twice, got to the top of the tower and grabbed my second shine. Finally, for my third and last one, I pressed on this P-switch button which spawned the shine on the other side of the map. I then used my turbo nozzle to speed through the level and grab the shine way before the timer expired. And that was it for my objective. After playing around with my new abilities, I decided that it was time to go back home and see which character was unlocked. To my surprise, it was Luigi and it seemed like he didn't have any hat on. At first, I was a little scared to transform into him as I didn't want to lose Cappy, but at the same time, I was excited to finally be able to play as Luigi. Unfortunately though, upon turning into him, Yahoo! I lost Cappy. However, I quickly noticed that my jumps were a lot higher than usual, which was very nice to have. My spin jump was actually so powerful that it reminded me of Luigi's backflip jump from Mario 64 DS. Anyways, when I came back on the platform, it teleported me into this area which was full of poison waves. This time, my objective was to collect 2 moons in order to unlock a new character. The first part of the level was relatively easy as the platforms were very large and I had a lot of time to think before the waves got to me. However, in the second part, things got trickier. The platforms had shrunk and it became much harder to time my jumps. I actually thought I would never make it to the end as I kept trying to throw Cappy, which simply led to me diving into the poison waves. But in the end, I took advantage of my spin jumping ability to get over the waves and collect the first moon. Then I avoided some more poison, grabbed the key, collected the second moon and went back to my starting point. When I returned here, I was strangely reunited with Cappy. However, it was useless as Waluigi was free and it was time to transform into him. I played a bit with Cappy and eventually transformed into Waluigi, and thankfully this time I had my hat on me. For a few seconds, I thought Waluigi didn't have any special ability since my jumps, spin jumps, ground pounds, and pretty much all the other moves were no different from Mario. But then, after messing up a dive, I desperately tried to get back to the top by wall jumping, and when I touched the wall, I started sliding upwards and even made it back to the platform. At first I thought I was crazy, so I decided to try again, and it turned out that Waluigi was actually able to slide up walls. After this miraculous revelation, I went on the platform and this time got teleported into something that looked quite familiar to me. It was actually 3-1 from Mario 3D World and my objective was to make my way to the end and collect every power star. Upon arriving, the first thing I noticed was those cat Goombas, which were kind of scary as they didn't have any eyes but yet they could still see and chase me. They also had this weird animation when they were killed, but overall I believe they behaved the same way as regular Goombas. Anyway, Waluigi's ability was simply perfect for this level. I was pretty much cheesing through it all by just sliding up the walls and taking shortcuts everywhere. There's also this moon that you normally have to collect by making a pile of Goombas and then slingshotting your way up to the top of that wall, but since I was Waluigi, I just slid up the wall and collected the moon with 0 effort. The rest of the level was super easy and after collecting the third and final star, I made it back to my starting point. When I returned here, Sonic's cage was unlocked, so I immediately jumped onto him and transformed into him. As you'd expect, I was given some massively high speed. Also, the coins had been replaced by rings just like in Sonic, which was a small but very nice addition in my opinion. Anyways, this time the teleporter brought me into this cave filled with poison. My objective was once again to collect 2 moons. Normally, you have to collect the speedy flowers and make your way to the end before the platform falls into the poison, but since I was playing as Sonic, I just used my regular speed and play through the stage. Getting to the end of the level was in itself fairly easy. The hard part was getting the key. Because of my speed, I kept going past it, and when I tried to control Sonic and align myself with the key, I ended up losing control and ran straight into the poison. But after several attempts and some luck, I finally pulled off the impossible and collected the 2 moons. Also, in case you're wondering, I grabbed the flowers to see if it would give me any extra speed, and they in fact did not. Sonic was already going fast enough on his own. But yeah, after coming back to the starting point, I saw that it was Wario's turn to be captured. I actually thought I was going to get some extra strength just like in Mario 64 DS, since this is what Wario is normally known for. But oh boy was I wrong. Instead, Wario was so fat that he almost became unable to jump and run at all. It felt so uncomfortable and obnoxious to control him, but I was forced to deal with it. This time, the magic platform brought me into a Mario Kart track, and guess what? It was Wario Stadium for Mario Kart DS. There was also Wario's motorcycle sitting near the starting line waiting to be grabbed, and that's exactly what I did. My objective was to finish a full lap of the track in under 50 seconds, and when I was given the right to drive, I immediately pressed on the acceleration button, which got me a great start. The music was also amazing to hear and it brought me so many good memories, especially since Mario Kart DS is one of my first ever Nintendo games. And fun fact, this music is also in Waluigi's Pinball, which is in my opinion the best Mario Kart track of all time. Anyways, driving in this race in Mario Odyssey was a little bit awkward as the camera was not turning with me, so I actually had to control it myself. It was really hard to control which direction I was going simultaneously with controlling the camera, which is what made the driving part a little odd. Also, the boost pads sadly didn't have any effect on my speed, which could have been nice to have. But in the end, I was able to finish my lap in just under the allowed time. Overall, I really enjoyed playing Mario Kart in Mario Odyssey, and if this is something you would like to see me do more of, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. And while you're at it, go smash that subscribe button. But anyway, when I came back here, Yoshi was still in the cage, meaning that I had to transform into the imposter from Among Us, and that's exactly what I did. I thought I looked a bit weird and not really like the imposter that was in the cage, but it was still a nice skin. Just like for Waluigi, I was unable to identify which ability I had unlocked, and this time no miracle made me find it. I ended up giving up and went on the platform. When I got teleported in the Among Us map, 2 things directly grabbed my attention. First, I was phasing through the wall, which was actually my new ability, and second, the map was fully covered with my profile picture and it looked so odd to see myself everywhere. My objective was to steal all the 7 gold coins that were guarded by each crewmate without getting noticed. To do so, I took advantage of my new ability to hide in the walls, and then I used Cappy to get the coins for me. I really had to be careful not to get out of the wall, otherwise the crewmates would kill me and I'd have to start over. On my way to get the coins, I found the dead body of a red crewmate just like me, which I couldn't report since it would reveal my position and get me in danger. After collecting the first 6 coins, I had to collect the huge one in the cafeteria, which was guarded by this humongous crewmate. It was practically impossible for me to get it as it was way too far and not even Cappy could reach out to it. So I used my last option, which was to run towards it and reveal my position. And when I did, the alarm immediately went off, but I was thankfully fast enough to grab the coin, hide back inside the wall, and get on the teleporter to leave this place. After coming back from that crazy event, Yoshi was finally free, and it meant that after completing this level, it would be finally time to turn back into Mario. I assumed that I was gonna get a flying ability or at least something similar to that, since in Mario Galaxy 2, this is what Blue Yoshi does. And for once, my prediction was kind of accurate. Although I wasn't given any flying ability, maybe due to the fact that Yoshi is a little darker than the Galaxy one, my jumps had significantly improved in height. My ground pound jumps were so high that it was pretty much the same, if not more broken than flying with the original Blue Yoshi. Anyways, for my 7th and last level, the magic platform brought me into the brutal boss rush arena from the moon. The twist here is that I wasn't actually gonna fight any brutal. Instead, I was put up against Bowser Jr. The first phase of the boss was pretty easy apart from the fact that I had to carefully time my jump to land on Bowser Jr.'s head. While he was putting shells all over the arena, I simply used my ground pound jump to stay in the air. I then waited for him to respawn and hit him for the second time. I repeated the same process for the third phase and was able to defeat him for good. When I came back to the Lake Kingdom, everything had disappeared and Peach was back from her trip. There was also this bed with 3 weird looking faces on it that had just arrived, and since Mario was very tired from this crazy journey, he decided to take some rest by sleeping on this very comfy but scary looking bed.